Welcome back to the Tydirium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Cang-Toys 04 Mini Kinglion and Mini King. King Mini, not Lion. King Mini. Anyhow, this is a stylized take on a Predaking, and you would think they would just downscale their masterpiece, but they did a completely different mold. They're going a completely different route with the transformation and everything, but they look very similar, and they have different weapons, accessories. And with that, I'm going to take a look at this. Now, Shozy did send this over for me to take a look at. I will have a link down below in the description for you to order one of these if you're interested in this. But let's go ahead and get into taking a look at this King Mini coming up. Take a look at the box. I do like the reflectiveness in it. One thing I don't like, I can barely read the words on it because it's so dark, but the reflective part is really cool. So it's kind of a cool looking look to it. You can see both modes on the back, but aside from that, that's the package. All right, so this is a good looking figure overall. I do like the gold, I like the red, I like all of the different colors going on with it. It has quite a bit of translucent stuff to it. So we've got translucent in here, right here, and that is quite interesting. Has an interesting look to it. The figure overall has a nice aesthetic. Now it is kind of beefier and chunkier than what you'd expect from maybe a G1 version. With a stylized version, there's a lot more going on, and that's something maybe you like or don't like. You got the face right on his chest, which is really cool. It actually looks good. And then looking around to the side here, he has these giant guns on his back. Now you could move them around and flip them around and have them over the top if you wanted to. That's a thing you could do. I got to mess around with that, but it doesn't really take away from the stability. You think this big old backpack and he'd be less stable, but he stands really well. Stands just fine with it. But let's go ahead and I say that now he tips, but he does stand just fine. Let's go ahead and take a look at these accessories real quick. First accessory right here is this axe, and I thought that it was going to have movable parts on it, but it does not. But it is gold with some red paint accents on it, so that looks really nice, kind of shiny. And yeah, he can hold it in either hand, wield it in either hand. I think that you can put it somewhere in the alt mode because you got these tabs here, so that would make me think you could put it somewhere in the alt mode. And then we have this giant cannon of a gun, and that is huge. And it looks pretty cool. It's got two different color paint apps on it, so it's black with silver paint and gold paint on both sides. So that looks good. Wraps around to the front. So big old weapons. That's all he comes with, though. So you don't really get anything else out of him other than those two accessories. And they're pretty good accessories. But you might consider these accessories too, because they come off, but they're packed on him. And they're like little shoulder missile cannon guns, which that's kind of interesting. They fall off sort of easily, but then they pop back on pretty easy too. I think you're supposed to slide them on. It's like a sliding mechanism to put them back on, and it was always easy to put them on in the past. Everything's just easier off camera, but there it is. So he's got his shoulder cannons. If you want to count those as accessories, then you can, but there it goes. All right, now for articulation, we do have the head side to side and up and down. So it is on a ball joint. It looks like a double. Is it a double? No, just a ball joint. Really tight. Everything on this guy is super tight. Now shoulders go out to about there, so it's kind of it goes up here too. It's not just a ball joint, so it's kind of a universal joint. And then I'm sure you can get 360 if you can clear everything in here. You can get a 360 out of it. And then you've got the bicep swivel. You have articulation right there. Now there is a bunch of kind of Kinglion stuff going on here with the lower forearm, which kind of most of the figures do have that kind of Kinglioness in it. And then the fists just kind of go up and down a little bit with basically due to transformation. Waist swivel, you do have waist swivel, and I don't feel any ab crunch, so just waist swivel going on with this guy. Now he does have all these hip flaps you can move out of the way and get some range right here. and up to there, and then thigh swivel, and then knee goes just about there, and kind of really chunky lower legs there going on, and then real tight lower feet here, up and down. You got the ankle pivot so that you can get kind of a wide stance if you wanted to, and like I said, he is pretty solid. So for comparison, I don't really have a whole lot to compare it to up here right now. Just comparing it to McFan's Toy stuff that I have kind of over here. This is the oversized from Magic Square for their Trailbreaker, which is about the same size as an Optimus Prime. And over here is their Rodimus, which is a little bit taller than an Optimus Prime. So you can kind of see this guy is big and beefy, and he's going to be bigger than most of your Legends scale because he's supposed to be. Big, beefy dude. Alright, let's get into the transformation. Let's start in the back here. So we're going to fold this up, fold this down, fold this out, so we kind of have the wings out like so. And same thing on the other side, so that we can get this out of the way. Go around here. What we're going to do is open this up, and then we're going to fold the foot out, and the hand needs to go, the back of the hand's what needs to go inside. So turn that in, fold this in, close this up. You've got a paw. You got a paw. Same thing over here. Open this up, flip this around, fold this in, and you got a paw. So the paws are there. Now coming around to the back, we're going to fold this stuff out. This should kind of unfurl. This is the tail. Whole bunch of stuff going on here, and it's some interesting stuff that they have going on with that. And then this is going to rotate around. You're going to open up these flaps here. We're going to open up all of this tail and everything, and this is tight, which is a good thing. That's all going to tab in later on here in a bit. Then we can rotate down this whole mechanism here. Now getting to the legs. So here's what you do with the legs. You flip them around, and then you fold this part up to here. Then flip this around and fold it back. Same thing on the other side. Flip this around, fold this out. Oh, come on. And don't cut yourself. Got to clear that. There you go. These are sharp. Sharp, sharp, sharp. This got to be ages 15 and up, and then there's a tab, which that one went right into it, but that tabs into here. Then you can start lowering all this down, flattening it out, and then bring this back, and then fold those out, and you've got more or less the alt mode. Pretty good looking. Let's tighten it up and then take a look at it. Alright, so here he is in his lion mode, and I think it's a pretty good looking lion mode. Overall, you've got everything that you would need. It's got the gold, the black, the red, the translucent, and it's got some articulation going on in here too, and so you can get different stances and poses if you want to. I just kind of got him more or less flat, but I think he does look pretty good overall. And yeah, he looks great. He's got some interesting aesthetic going on with him, and with that, these cannons. Now, I'm still not sure I've done everything right with these cannons, because in a lot of the promo pictures, these look like they're pointing up higher, but it could be the stance that he's in. It could be just lowering the lower legs or something and giving it a higher stance in the front that makes it appear like it's up higher. But anyway, with that, you do have articulation in these guns that kind of go in and out. But I felt like they were supposed to swivel up and down, and they're not really swiveling up and down. But anyhow, that's the thing. The head, it does have articulation in the head, and you have mouth articulation in the jaw here. So, rawr. You can open up and rawr. And lots of great paint. Looks good. I mean, all the stuff that transferred over from the bot mode, from this being on his chest. Yeah, his head just kind of hides in there, so that's cool. It's not really a tough transformation. It's just getting everything past everything. That it's kind of the hardest part about the transformation. You do have some articulation all the way out this way if you want to, and everything you had with the arms you still have with the front, and then the paws are on a ball joint so that they can do a whole lot of other things if you want them to. And looking at the side here, still we've got the hip flaps that still kind of look cool. All this different color. Now they do one thing that I didn't point out yet. That they, if I can get it on here, just tiny little writing all over this thing, and they've done that from get-go. Tiny little writing, which is like an extra small detail that they put into this, which is kind of cool. And then getting to the back, you do have articulation out this way, however you want, and then you could go back further and give it that, like I'm showing, like a lower stance in the back and a higher stance in the front, if that's a thing that you want to do. The thing about the tail is it has strange articulation. It's got like a double joint right here, and then you've got articulation right here, and then you got side to side wiggle wag, which I thought such a cool just inclusion. They didn't have to include that. That's cool. So a little extra, they went above and beyond with that tail. I don't remember that on the Masterpiece version, so pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. One more small point is I forgot to show the shoulder cannons. I took them off during transformation, and then I put them back on here, so that's kind of what it looks like with the shoulder cannons back on, beefed up. I still haven't quite figured out where these would store. It seems like just the way they've put those tabs in, it's supposed to go somewhere, but and then there's a tab on here right there, those tabs, like it should tab in somewhere. I was thinking, and this should tab in right here. I still haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'm sure there's weapon storage, I'm just not seeing it. Still pretty cool overall. Alright, so there's a third mode, and I'm not going to bother going to it because I don't have enough to combine them, and I don't know if I'm going to get enough to build this all the way. But when you look at it, you can see it comes together as a really nice looking Predaking combiner, stylized version. And this is, I guess, according to Show Z, as far as you can go with it, waiting on another arm or something to come out to finish it up. I believe that's where it's at. So took this picture from Show Z, and this turns into the torso, and it looks like a pretty good looking bot overall. And I don't think you're going to have to buy nearly as many as you did with the Masterpiece to complete this set. So anyhow, just figured I'd show that. This turns into torso and good looking combined mode. Alright, so this is my look at the Cang-Toys 04 King Mini. I think the original one was called Kinglion, and this is just Mini King. And so I think it's a pretty cool looking figure. They're doing something completely different than the Masterpiece. It is a very stylized take on a Predaking, and they are doing a good job with it. It's not for the super ultra G1ers. It is for people that want something a little bit different, a little more stylized. And there's nobody currently making a Legends scale combiner for Predaking that is G1. And so this is the only one that's out there. But it's a cool looking set if you're in on this. I do have a link to Show Z where you can get this. I think it's like $44 for this guy. But really pretty cool. Like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.